Kathryn Dager founded Profitivity Inc. in 1985 and has become an internationally recognized speaker, facilitator, coach, and consultant for organizations of all sizes. She has authored 2 books, published numerous articles, and inspired thousands by incorporating personal effectiveness skills and motivational tools into customized training programs, resulting in success and profits for hundreds of clients.
Well, hi, Ed. How you doing? Haven't seen you for a couple of weeks. Hi, little sweetie. What are you going to order today? You know what? Okay, let me remember. 2 tacos and a green burrito. Is that right? Well, that was me for my first job, which was at Taco Bell, the 6th Taco Bell on the planet. Isn't that amazing? So I just want to share this story because it changed my life. Can you imagine? There I was, my first job, 15 and a half, so excited that someone hired me because all I knew how to do was iron and babysit. So it was like, wow, I got my first job. And there I am, making all these tacos and having all kinds of fun with these people. But you know what? I noticed about 2 months into the job that there were certain days every customer was a jerk. And I was just miserable. It's like, will the time ever finish, for this day? Can we possibly have a little fun here? It was one after the other. Have you ever had a day like that? Yes. You feel like, I don't know if I'm going to go back for $1.35 an hour. That was a lot of money at that time. Then the next day would be delightful. People would be happy and talking to me. The whole team would come. And what happens to time when it's like that? And what I noticed too, results were fantastic. That register is ringing away, and it was so much fun. So one night I went home and I was thinking about this. Which day did I prefer more? The perky day, of course. And then I had what I would call an epiphany. I got a huge awareness. And what it was, well, maybe I had something to do with both days because I was there. I was the common denominator. It was quite startling. And I started to notice that maybe it had to do with me. Maybe what I was experiencing with those customers was my attitude being reflected outwardly to them. And what I noticed about myself was when I felt great, the day went great. So from that point on, my entire life has been about learning how to bring out the best in myself so I can bring out the best in other people. And that really has led me to an entire career where I look at life as a laboratory for human behavior. I always see, what can I do to bring out the best in others and share with other people how to do that for themselves. And I gotta tell you, one day this guy comes with a limousine, a photographer, and took my picture. And it was incredible because I still have that picture today. And there I was, 15 and a half, with this big honking smile at Taco Bell. And I, about 6 years ago, took that picture to Taco Bell headquarters. And I said, you know what? This was the best job I've ever had. And no one here is having any fun. And what I got to teach Taco Bell, we had a $60,000 contract. I'm not kidding. But what I got to share with them was, what can you do to bring out the best in every person that you meet? What can you do to bring out the best? The little kids, ask them to order for themselves. Their parents loved it. To remember people, to remember that little touch of bringing out your heart every single day. And that really has been the purpose of my life. I go to all kinds of parties because I just love being with people, and I also go on airplanes and listen to people talk to me all the time about how miserable they are at work. Does anybody relate to that? And one of the passions I have in life is to listen to what the frustrations are and figure out some solutions, something that people really can use to make their life more fulfilling. In fact, I ask people every year, thousands of people, what percentage of their life is about work, either doing something or thinking about it. And I'm shocked, and actually they are too, because they never thought of that question. They're shocked about, wow, it's about 80% of my life that has something to do with work. And I'm thinking, well, let's make it wonderful. Let's make that a great, enriching experience. So one of the greatest frustrations I hear all the time is they tell someone that's working for them or with them that they want them to do it a certain way, and they don't do it that way. Does anybody relate to that? Yes. I always laugh about it. You got the right way, the only way, the way it's got to be the way it ought to be, which is your way. Well, let me ask you this. How many of you like being right? And on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, how much do you like being right? 11. I'm a 14. Ask my husband. He'll tell you. The thing about it, we all like being right. And what I am always astounded by is that people have a concept that there's this idea called common sense. And what I'm here to share with you is my perspective is there's no such thing as common sense because nothing is common anymore. I believe that came about when we were eating dinner together as families at dinner tables for hours a week. And since the last few generations, we haven't been doing that very much. So how do I know what someone else knows? How do I know? So one of the tools I want to share with you is the difference between a behavior and a notion. A behavior is something you can see or hear. So it's physical. A notion is a concept or an idea. And let me share a notion with you. You tell a child to clean their room. What do? Where does the stuff go? Under the bed, in the closet. You know, you just like you don't open that closet because it's all going to come down in an avalanche. So the thing is, or you ask maybe an employee or an associate, go clean that. When you use a notion, it can be interpreted any way that person sees it in their own mind. And a behavior is something that you physically can see. So let me tell you how I shared with my daughter how to make her bed. I said this, and she was 7 years old at the time and very much liked to do grown-up things. So I kind of had a little bit of a motivational edge there. But what I said to her was, I'll paint a picture that you can see of how to make your bed, and then I'm going to ask you to do it. And I'll give you a reward if you do it exactly as I'm describing. First, you take the comforter and the decorative pillows off, put them on the side of the bed, or roll them in a ball. Then take off the sheets and the pillowcase and roll that and put it inside the laundry hamper. Then go to the linen closet and pull out your Minnie Mouse sheets, because I knew they'd fit her bed. And you take the stretchy sheet and put it on the mattress most colorful side up, because that's the way I like it. And then you put the flat sheet on the top with the ruffle at the top, fold it down so it doesn't tickle your nose, tuck in the other 3 sides, and then put the comforter back, spread it out so it's no lumps. And the pillow's the fun part. You put the pillow under your chin and you open up the pillowcase, stuff the bottom of the pillow in and shake it until it falls down in the pillowcase, and you smooth it out and put it right where your head goes. Now, did you all make the bed with me? And guess what? She did it perfectly. What I noticed, and what will always stay near and dear to my heart, is she had a smile on her face the entire time she was doing it. What I had done was really paint a picture that she could follow step by step. And in a way, if we could do that so much for other people when they're learning something new or they've never done something before. There was a very big study by Virginia Satir many years ago about how many ways there are to do the dishes. Guess how many ways there are? 256. So you might have thought there was just one. So to me, one of the favorite sayings I have is if two minds think alike, one of them isn't necessary. And what we can do to support other people is make sure if we have the right way of doing it, that we are clearly describing it step by step so they have an opportunity to do that exactly the way we'd like it, and then they can win. So remember when I was saying about there's no such thing as common sense? I mean, think about how incredibly great it would be if everybody did think like you. But I want to show you how the brain works and why people act the way they do. One of the most wonderful things that I like to know is why are they doing what they're doing so that I can have a sense of humor about it instead of being unhappy or upset about it. What I've realized in my life is if I have an expectation, it usually leads right to disappointment. So what I want to do is find out what's going on with people, what can I do to impact that in a great way. So I want to share with you how the brain works. We have 3 pounds of a gelatin substance in our brain, and what it does is conduct electricity. Every time we think a thought, every time we move or we breathe, this little ridge of neurons fires off and creates a little pathway. What most people don't know is the more you repeat the same thought or the more you do the same behavior, that ridge gets deeper and deeper and becomes a habit. And what happens with that habit is the more we repeat that habit, the deeper and deeper and deeper it gets into our body to the point where we are not even aware of it. We are on autopilot. So what I want to do is show you and give you a physical experience of the ridges in your brain. First of all, just clasp your hands and look down and notice which thumb is on top, because you've been clasping your hands this way all your life. Now unclasp them. Now lace them the other way so the other thumb ends up on top, and then hold it, and I can tell if you don't hold it because I'm watching. Okay, how does that feel? And what does your brain want you to do? Okay, and how strong is that? It's really strong. And hold it, hold it, hold it. Don't let it go. I love torturing you just a little bit. The power of it all. But what I want you to know is, and have a reference point, every time you ask someone to do something they've never done before, this is how it feels to them. And can you see how the brain tries to reject it? It just goes, it's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. Okay, now relax. Undo those hands. Okay, now cross your arms. Cross your arms, I'm seeing you. Okay, behave. Okay. You're doing okay. This is how you've been doing it all your life, right? Yep, that's the way it goes. So look down, see how you've been doing. Cross your arms. Uncross them. You know what's coming next, right? Cross them the other way. And hold them. I know some people can't even. And how does that feel? Feels really weird, doesn't it? And how strong is your brain telling you, get back the other way? So this is something that I want to share with you about habit. What would the likelihood be if I said, okay, for the rest of your life, I want you to cross your arms this way instead of the other way that you've been doing it, and then I leave and go home? What would the likelihood be of you doing that? Would never happen, right? Okay, so, and you can let it go. So now you know that if you want someone to do something different that they've never done before, have some patience. Go through step by step. This is how you do it. Coach them along. Give them lots of support because it feels really uncomfortable and really awkward. The other thing about it is that the brain has 3 trillion ridges in it. We have had ridges for walking since we're about 1 year old. Do you think that if you woke up tomorrow and you had forgotten how to walk, that you could even function? So what the brain's job is to create almost everything as a habit. One thing after the other. The other thing is like, well, have you ever driven for about 5 miles and all of a sudden you wake up? And you were sober? And you're thinking, my gosh, did I hear any sirens? You know, but what happens is our brain goes into this autopilot mode where we are not even aware of where we are. So what I want to do is just show you that in life, according to Stanford University, about 95% of our day is doing what we've been doing most all of our life pretty much the same way. And the other piece of information I think is fantastically important is that by the time we're 7 years old, 80% of those ridges were set. So we haven't really changed much. And have you ever watched people when they have to wait for something, how they act? How old? See, we just get taller. And by the time we're about 16 years old, 97% of those ridges are marinated into our brain. In fact, I saw a bumper sticker that I loved. It said, hire a teenager while they know everything. And that is exactly how it is in life. So give people a break. We are all walking around on autopilot. We don't like being out of our comfort zone. That is the way of life. And what I really encourage you to do is have compassion and support for people who are learning something new so that they can feel great about every effort that they've made.